These umpires have me out here going full John Boy, and we're going to see why in a second. So, to be clear, this does not matter. Bogarts, the runner on first here, is about to get balked to second, but he doesn't score in this inning, so, none of this really matters. But I believe this was just a complete incorrect call. I know whenever a balk gets called, we all break out that John Boyce copy pasta and, just dismiss any sort of discussion about the whole thing as well, we never really know what a balk is, so it's just too complicated. Let's just move on with our lives. But this was a balk where we saw an explanation given, and it was one we don't even need to read lips to really understand. So let's take a look at it. So Bryan Woo turns to first and fires, and balk's called immediately. Doesn't know why. He comes over, find out, and the umpire points to first base, as we'll see here, points to first base and says he was far off the bag. He's saying Josh Naylor, the first baseman, was too far off the bag, essentially. That seems to be the call. Dan Wilson comes out and gives the same explanation that he's giving to Bryan Woo, and we move on with our lives because I guess everybody just accepts that the umpire has made that call. But that's not a thing. I have never heard of this ever before, that this was something you need to even worry about as a fielder, and I looked it up just to see what was going on, and this is not something that comes up in the actual rules. So here's Rule 6.02, Pitcher Legal Action, Section A, balks. Let's break down these rules. So we got, number one, basically, is you can't start pitching and stop pitching. That if you start pitching, you have to finish pitching. Number two, if you start throwing to first or third, you got to finish throwing to first or third. Number three, if you don't step towards the base while you're touching the pitching mound, that's a balk. You got to step towards the base. Number four, if you fake to an unoccupied base, that's a balk. Five is a pitcher makes an illegal pitch. We won't bother talking about that. There was no pitch here. Six is the pitcher delivers the ball to the batter while he is not facing the batter. Again, not relevant. Number seven, pitcher makes any motion naturally associated with his pitch while he's not touching the pitcher's plate. Not really relevant again here. 8, the pitcher unnecessarily delays the game. Now that's interesting, and we will come back to that. But for now, let's move on. Number 9, basically, if you don't have the ball, you can't fake that you're pitching it. Number 10, you can't take your hand off the ball. Number 11, you can't drop the ball. Number 12, if the catcher isn't in the catcher's box, you can't pitch. Number 13, you have to stop before you pitch. This is the thing that got Gosman the other day. If you were paying attention to that, that was a whole thing. But yeah, those are the balk rules. It's there are some complex interpretation things that go on with this, and it certainly is not everybody who watches baseball is going to know what they're seeing when they see a balk. That's not always going to be the case. But none of these apply to what Bryan Woo just did. Basically, what I believe was the call here is that he unnecessarily delayed the game. And if we go over to this other website, baseballrulesacademy.com, I don't know what this website has. I don't know what its relationship to MLB is, but they do have this page that's called balk regulations, and it does kind of explicitly talk about this scenario. So, first regulation they have on this balk regulations page is the pitcher shall be charged with a balk if, while in contact with the rubber, he throws to a fielder who is either in front of or behind first or third base, and obviously not making an attempt at retiring the runner at that base. Now, this is a thing that does happen. So, for example, Arthur Jensen, usually on the ball about these sorts of things on lookoutlanding.com, in the comments section, pointed out there's this video of Machado getting a throw from, I don't know who the pitcher is, but basically they called that a balk. I mean, you can see it, he's way off the bag. He is not playing third base. He is not holding the runner on in any meaningful way. They called it a balk. So, let's look at Josh Naylor again. He's tagging the runner. He is tagging Bogaerts. He swipes backwards and makes a very legitimate attempt to retire Bogaerts. Obviously, the pickoff move wasn't fast enough for it to really cause Bogaerts any trouble, but that's never been a problem before. That's not really a thing that you see. You don't really see balks get called when the runner is fast enough back to first that it's not really a legitimate close play. That's not how this is interpreted ever. So I think the idea here is that you can't just throw to your first baseman if he's not covering the bag, but Naylor's on the bag. He might be a few feet off, as the umpire does say, but he's on the bag enough that he's making a legitimate tag attempt. I don't. This is a crazy call. This is just like an absolutely like. I'm looking for a way to call a balk today, and I decided to come to the stadium to call a balk. That is what I did. I am the crew chief of this game, and I have called a balk in a situation that I don't think any other umpire in any other situation would ever call a balk. Like again, like he is pointing to first base and saying this is how far away he was from first base. That is the call here, and it is incorrect. It is just straight up incorrect. So again, Mariners wound up losing this game 4-1 to the Padres. Mason Miller is a fantastic closer right now, and good job to the Padres for winning this game. But I just wanted to talk about this one moment in it because it just baffled me, and this is probably going to go unobserved by most people because obviously this runner didn't score, so like who cares? But like this was a bad call, like a very bad call.